What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is having a tremendous Sunday so far. I just finished watching the Sixers defeat the Clippers, and I just wanted to say and talk about and chill out and see how this game kind of came into play. We just got news that James Harden walked out of the locker room before Tyronn Lue did a post-game presser. So, with all the talk about how great the Clippers have been, you're not going to be as confident in them if James Harden is going to be being a baby. I mean, this was a bad loss for them. They lose to a Sixers team that is without Embiid, and they got crushed. I mean, the energy was totally lopsided the entire game in the Sixers' favor. Tyrese Maxey played 44 minutes and finished with 24 points, but he only had 3 shots at the end of the first half. You would like to see him get some more shots, and I think he knew that, and Nick Nurse told him that at halftime because he finished a with 24 points and he shot 17 times. So he was able to get the shots up, and he was hitting from deep later in the game, especially in the second half. He finished 3 for 5 from deep, but it was Tobias Harris at the beginning of the game. Obviously, with how up and down he has been, you would like to see him kind of get out to a hot start, and we got that. So he finished with 24 as well, but he had, I believe, 19 at the end of the first half. And the Sixers were up by a wide margin at the end of the first half. And it did end up getting a little bit closer in the third quarter. So, we had a really incredible Kelly Oubre game. He finished with 12 points, shooting 5 of 11, and he's always going to get his shots up. You know that, but it's his athleticism on both ends that is a huge part for the Sixers right now. And that block on Paul George, I think, really set the tone in the second half about the Sixers being able to win this game. And I was just incredibly surprised by the Clippers' transition defense in this one. I did not know it was that bad. They look slow, and I know when Harden was on the Sixers, it was a complaint about the Sixers that they played a little bit too slow, and especially on defense, it can be lackadaisical, and that has shifted to the Clippers. I mean, if I'm a Western Conference team, if I just saw this game, and I would be pretty happy going up against the Clippers in the first round because when they get tired, they're just gonna stop trying as much. At least Harden will, and that trickle down effect, we know how that goes. So I think it was pretty surprising that Harden is walking out after the game when there was a couple wide open shots where Harden was the closest guy and he just did not run over to go get him. But Mo Bamba hit a couple of shots today. He played some great defense on the Clippers, on Zubac, never really got going and cleaned up the glass pretty well. The Sixers were out rebounding the Clippers pretty much this entire game. And I think that played a huge effect, as although the Clippers didn't have as hot of a start as the Sixers, it kind of prevented them from getting back in this one. So I don't know. I think the Sixers, if they can just copy this energy that they had in this game, bring it to their other games in the future. They play tomorrow night against the Sacramento Kings in the second half of a back-to-back. Another reason why this game was so important. I mean, we're trying to get out of the play-in. Any game we can steal from these Western Conference teams is going to be incredibly valuable. Buddy Hield hit a few shots that I think were all right, but obviously he's not producing at the level he was when we first traded for him. And I think he will kind of fall into place if Embiid does come back. But, we would like to see a little bit more from him. I was just concerned that Maxey was not going to be getting the final shot amount that he finished with. I mean, he really put his foot on the gas in the second half when in the first half he really let Tobias kind of take over the first half of this game. So, um, Cam Payne finished with 23 points. I think his energy in this game just proves to you why this trade with Pat Bev was worth it. Obviously, at the time, it was a little bit confusing, but you bring in Kyle Lowry and you get Cam Payne back. Kyle Lowry out uh, of this one with rest, just resting for this one. So Cam Payne knew he was going to have to put up a big spot, and he did so. Finished with 23 points, his season high. He was 8 of 15 and 5 of 10 from three. And the Sixers actually finished 18 of 37 from three. That is pretty close to 50%, just under. But they finished 53% from the field, and they shot only 9 free throws in this one. So the rest were kind of definitely favoring the Clippers, but you know who they have on their team that is going to try to draw fouls. I think the biggest takeaway up until the end, I mean, they finished with the same amount of rebounds, but the Sixers really did clean up the glass, and it was the pace of this game that was crucial for the Sixers to take it. Multiple possessions where they just pushed the pace, got out in front of the Clippers transition defense, and finished at the bucket. And even Paul Reed having that awkward layup, awkward assist where he could have dunked the ball, he could have laid it in himself, and instead he drops it off to Tobias behind him. I understand Tobias has the hot hand, but hey, get your buckets when you can, Paul Reed. Like, you don't know how long this is going to be. You're going to be doing this for, so get the points when you can, especially when they're right in front of you. But yeah, it was really it seemed like it was a point of emphasis heading into this game that forcing turnovers and getting the Clippers out in transition was going to be the way they won this game, and that was the case. And Maxey closed it out in the end. Maxey closed it out. And just a bunch of different plays from a bunch of different guys, including Jeff Doughton coming in and making a three. Mo Bamba, Kelly Oubre getting hurt, coming back in after the end of the game. And if we know this is a pattern, we know he might be missing a week now because of what happened to Tobias and Maxey and Embiid. Jeff Doughton coming in, Ricky Council coming in late. I think that is a crucial minutes just for these guys. I mean, with Doc, we would always say just how tough it would be for these younger guys to get minutes, but it seems like now we have a cycle almost every day, every week. It's different guys coming in, fresh legs under them. So what else do we got here? I'm pretty sure. Let's see how the Clippers performed here in their totals. So Kawhi finished with 20, and I think that's a lot of credit to both Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey playing a lot of time on Kawhi. Paul George finished with only 18. Harden finished with 12, but 14 assists. And Norman Powell finished with 20. He was really the only one that shot relatively above 50%. So the Sixers really got at it defensively and kept that intensity up the entire game. Paul Reed had 3 steals, 2 blocks. Cam Payne had a steal and 2 blocks. KJ Martin had a steal and a block. Kelly Oubre, we know, had the very loud block and sending the ball back out of Paul George's hands. Tobias Harris had a steal and a block. And really no one was in foul trouble this entire game. It was a pretty clean game for the Sixers. So, I mean, if you could just copy and paste this performance for the rest of the season, I mean, obviously that would be a dream. But you just like to see them kind of come out with this intensity tomorrow. And especially since this was the first half of a back-to-back, I mean, you know how it is, and legs might be tired tomorrow at the end of the game, so you kind of wanted to get this one, and I think it's a big deal that they do, and that they can prove that they can beat these teams on the road because they have Embiid working his way back, and if he doesn't feel like this team can even compete, I mean, why would he himself force himself back into the season before he's ready? So I think Tobias really getting back on track is a big thing. Hopefully he can continue this kind of efficiency over the next few days. I mean, Mo Bamba is just an interesting type of player because we've had a bunch of backup fives who just have not been able to hit the three. And now that we have a backup five who is able to hit the three and is pretty slow everywhere else, it's kind of hard to watch. I mean, it's kind of rare. I don't understand. My eyes aren't used to it. Um, but it's incredible. I mean, the fact that Nurse has him playing like this, I think, is a testament to Mo Bamba himself and also to Nick Nurse and just getting the buy-in from these guys that we didn't see in the years past. Um, let's see. I mean, DJ Wilson got in at the end of the game, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I think holding pretty much all the Clippers to 20 points or under, I think is an inevitable or is like a pretty incredible feat. I mean, you have three pretty much Hall of Famers or bound to be Hall of Famers that, you hold the 20 points or less when you're without your best defensive player in Joel Embiid. That's admirable. And I think this game is more of a reason to believe more so than just like, oh, they stole a win. Like they actually displayed some real tendencies that I think are going to be used in the playoffs if they can hold on to the play in and get in. So yeah, I think that is about it in terms of a reaction. I'm very excited for this game tomorrow. I don't know, maybe 3:30 is just Toby time, but hopefully it's not. And I think he will kind of play well tomorrow as he should. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Make sure to like and subscribe to Liberty Ballers YouTube, and head over to our website at libertyballers.com. So I will see y'all later.